Welcome back to Space Coast Daily TV. Live and in the studio today we have Jessica Recksiedler, who is currently the judge in the Group 3 in the Circuit Court, and we'd like to welcome her to the studio today. Jessica, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. This is something that is really passionate for you, isn't it? As a young child, I guess, you decided to be a judge.
Yes, that's very true.
Tell us about that story.
Well, when I was 12 years old, it was for an American history project, studying the Constitution with my American history teacher, and essentially that's when I decided that I wanted to become a judge and make a difference. And as a matter of fact, it was so known that I wanted to become a judge that when I graduated high school, one of my former teachers gave me a crystal owl with a note that said, "May all your decisions be wise," and with a gavel with a note that said, "May you exercise the right temperament." And when I was elected, they now both sit in my chambers in my office.
Yeah, that's very special. Born and raised in the circuit, Lake Mary High School.
Yes.
You stayed at home, you were in private practice, you've got a really impressive background of qualifications and experience. But this is a passion for you, isn't it? This is something, a calling for you, as it will.
Yes. I've always wanted to do this, always wanted to, and as a matter of fact, even in my practice before being a judge, my husband, who I met in law school, that I've been married to for 22 years, we have a saying, was justice done today. So my thing is to make sure and try and make sure I'm following the law and doing what's right with everything that's done. But at the same time, I like the aspect of being able to help people as much as I can, too, in what I do.
Mm-hmm. Compassionate and caring, that's what we like in a judge, right? Being empathetic. This is Jessica Recksiedler. She's running for a judge here in the Circuit Court. So the differences between the county court and the Circuit Court for us laymen.
Okay, so county court is from, there are 67 counties in the state of Florida, and there are 20 circuits. We are the 18th Judicial Circuit. County court hears cases that are misdemeanors where they're punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for less than a year, and cases that are mountain dispute less than $30,000 civilly. For Circuit Court, it is the court of general jurisdiction for trial courts, and essentially that hears cases where the amount in dispute is more than $30,000, such as medical malpractice, personal injury, your real property cases, eminent domain, things of that nature, as well as cases that are felony cases for criminal cases, such as sex crimes or death penalty cases, and then cases that don't involve juries, such as probate of estate cases, all your family court cases that are your child support, child custody, paternity, things of that nature, as well as juvenile cases, juvenile dependency and juvenile delinquency cases. Essentially, it's the state trial court of general jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm. That cleared it up for me. It's always a bit confusing, isn't it, county versus circuit? But we always look for folks who are qualified, of course, with the right experience, compassionate, and really apply the law, right, and not interpret it. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Now then, you were elected as chief judge by your peers, which I understand is quite an honor. It doesn't come any higher than that, does it?
I was very honored, actually, that my peers voted me chief judge. I was voted in last year. In 2001, we had an election. And so I was elected to be the chief judge to serve them and to, of course, serve the rest of the community and the people of Brevard and Seminole counties. Mm-hmm.
Jessica, so when a person basically moves out of a position during their term, they're appointed, aren't they? But you were elected by the voters in 2010 and again in 2016.
Yes.
That says a lot, doesn't it?
Yes. Actually, I was elected at the end, essentially if somebody retires at the end of their term, then you're elected. So I was elected by the voters back in 2010. Because Brevard and Seminole counties are so large, I put 70,000 miles on my vehicle when I was elected.
Wow.
And then
That's a lot.
It is, but it's a vast area to cover, all of Seminole and all of
70,000
Brevard.
miles in how long?
A year.
1 year. Wow.
1 year.
Yeah.
And then 2016, in 2016, I ran unopposed. So, and happened on this time to receive an opponent last minute before qualifying. But essentially, yes, I am been elected twice before and hope to get the vote again.
That's an important thing, having a passion for something, isn't it? And of course, as a voter here in Brevard County, you know, we look to sometimes our other local leaders as to who they endorse and who they support, because you might not be as well informed. So we're looking at quite a considerable list of local folks. You've got Scott Ellis, you've got Wayne Ivey, Blaze Tredis, Dana Blickley. A lot of folks are backing you. Why do you think that is?
Well, regardless of what people's political beliefs are, circumstances are, as a circuit judge, and especially now as chief judge in the circuit, I've had to work with all of the stakeholders, all different individuals, constitutional officers in all different capacities. And so the reason why I believe that I have these endorsements is because of the fact that these people, I work so well with them. And that's part of it. I also have Phil Archer, who is the state attorney for the circuit as well, who also happens to be my opponent's former employer. So, but besides that, there's also a list of just individuals from all different backgrounds, and some other constitutional officers, mayors, and city councilmen, commissioners, all different aspects, because those are as well as the president of the past president of the Florida Bar, who oversaw the 109,000 lawyers, because the current president can't endorse, as well as the president of the current and past president of the Florida Justice Association, who essentially the trial lawyers for the state of Florida, who also endorsed me. Mm-hmm. So it shows not just the lawyers, but also all the people that I work with, the constitutional officers.
Mm-hmm. Being in this position for 12 years, you must have seen obviously a lot of cases come across your desk, so to speak. How do you think the climate in Central Florida is changing in the way of crimes that are committed and things that you have to deal with? Do you see a particular trend that concerns you in your position?
Well, I can tell you I have a passion in the sense, I'm also the adult drug court judge for Seminole County, have been the longest serving adult drug court judge for the county. And that's also a passion as far as the substance abuse and mental illness. And during COVID, there was a definite spike or increase with mental illness as well as substance abuse issues. And essentially, if you look at it, most of the crimes are committed because somebody is either doing drugs, they are stealing for drugs, they are on drugs and hurting someone. So I personally believe about 80% of the crimes that are being committed are because of some type of substance abuse or mental illness. So as chief judge, that's part of my passion, is to try and increase the facilities, and at least the treatment facilities within Brevard and Seminole counties, to try and help those. Because if you decrease the problem, then you hopefully decrease the crime as well. And I can say for Seminole County Adult Drug Court, our recidivism rate for us is 6%, which is below the national average of 25% for adult drug courts. So that's something that I definitely see within the circuit that needs hopeful improvement.
Other ways that we can improve that situation? More facilities, more programs? You know, what can we do? Obviously, it's a massive problem.
Well, it is a massive problem, and part of it, unfortunately, is sometimes funding, as well as just, believe it or not, just the personnel and ability for the treatment facilities to be able to expand, or the spacing for those treatment facilities. But we are working, I am trying to work on that to make sure and improve. For instance, Seminole County doesn't even have a juvenile Marchman facility. We drive them over to Brevard. And Brevard has Circles of Care, which is a great facility, but that's the single facility for juveniles. So it's even more so where it's lacking for juveniles than it is for adults. Mm-hmm.
This is Jessica Recksiedler. She's running for the circuit again here in Brevard County, and looking for your vote coming up. Jessica, as we close, what message do you have for the voters in Brevard to really to look back on maybe your experience and why they should choose you again?
Well, I can tell you, first of all, I am the most qualified. I have the most experience. Legal experience, total legal experience. I have nearly 25 years. At the end of this month, it'll be 25 years legal experience with as a lawyer and then judge. I also am the only candidate with judicial experience, have over 11 years judicial experience. I definitely am committed to the job, as evident by what I do and the circumstances of doing all the other aspects of adult chief judge and adult drug court and other circumstances that are not additional in pay or otherwise, and definitely care about the community and am qualified to do so. I got the 2021 Judge of the Year Award by the Central Florida Women Lawyers, 2020 Distinguished Service Award by the Florida Council of Crime and Delinquency, and most recently by the Titusville Police Department, I was given the Leadership Award for keeping the courts open during times of COVID, so that way people could have access to the courts as my service as chief judge. So I'm qualified, I care about the community, and I'm committed, and I definitely have the most experience. So if you can't remember Jessica, or Recksiedler, just remember Jessica. I will be the only Jessica on the ballot, so just remember Judge Jessica.
Certainly will. And before we leave, the family, You have
Yes.
created a strong support system behind you. Let's talk about those people.
I have a wonderful husband that I met in law school, actually, and we've been together over 26, almost 27 years, but married for 22. I have two beautiful daughters, a 19-year-old who is going to college for engineering in North Carolina at NC State, and I have a 16-year-old who is in high school. And actually, I have a wonderful support system right now, even with my family, my parents, and my sisters all around me. We all live within just a few miles, less than 10 miles of each other, and they've been amazing helping me through this process because, of course, I've been working doing a full docket this summer of over 1,000, or doing over 1,000 cases, handling a docket of over 1,000 cases at this time, as well as handling chief and trying to campaign. So my village has been helping me greatly, and I couldn't do it without them.
There is, folks, a local person born in the circuit looking to serve in the circuit once again. For Jessica Recksiedler, I'm Giles Malone for Space Coast Daily. Get out and vote. Coming.
Judge Jessica Recksiedler, lifelong resident of the circuit with nearly 25 years of legal experience. I was elected in 2010 and have over 11 years judicial experience. I've served as an associate judge for the Court of Appeals, was 2021 Judge of the Year, and elected by my colleagues to serve as your Chief Judge in 2021. I'm endorsed by State Attorney Phil Archer, my opponent's former employer. Vote for experience. Vote Judge Jessica Recksiedler on August 23rd.